David Schroeder. David, how you doing today?
Good, Pat. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Is it raining out?
Still raining.
Is it really?
Not quite as bad as it was, but it's still raining.
Yeah, it's been brutal around here the last few days.
Not as brutal as it's been elsewhere. We are fortunate.
We are very fortunate. I saw those pictures of Atlantic City last night. I couldn't believe how bad they got hit. It's just terrible.
We may get our 2 feet of snow, but you know, snow melts and life returns to normal.
That is correct. David, you are running for county prosecutor.
That's correct.
Now, first of all, before we get into any questions or anything like that, maybe you can give us a little background and on your history from when you started out with law and all that sort of stuff.
Certainly. I have a law enforcement background. I graduated in 1977 from Mercyhurst College with a degree in criminal justice. I immediately then went into law enforcement, several different law enforcement positions. I started evening law school a month after I graduated from college, and worked in various positions in the Cleveland area while I was attending law school. I worked at the juvenile court as the liaison for the Cleveland Police Department. I worked for the Cuyahoga County Sheriff's Department as a corrections officer. I worked as a liaison with the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office. I then passed the bar exam in both Ohio and Pennsylvania. Then I started a general practice of law in both states. During that time period, I've had various law enforcement type positions. I've been an assistant public defender in Erie County, Pennsylvania. I was an assistant prosecutor in Erie County, Pennsylvania. I was an assistant prosecutor in 1996 and 1997 in Ashtabula County. I was the assistant law director or the prosecutor in Conneaut, and now I'm the law director in Conneaut. I have a law enforcement family. My wife is a chief juvenile probation officer, and my son works for the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office. So we talk about a lot of law and crime.
I guess, yeah. What made you decide to run for law director, or excuse me, county prosecutor?
Primarily because in my position as the law director, we are the last stop at a local level before things go over to the county level. In other words, if a serious crime is committed in Conneaut, we handle it initially, we charge it, we prepare the case, the police department does the investigation. We then send it over to the county prosecutor's office for direct indictment. In that position, I had the opportunity to observe what was taking place with our cases from Conneaut and made some inquiry and could see that this was taking place across the county. The job is simply not being done. I had cases from Conneaut meth manufacturers where we would send it over time after time after time, and the individual would be I wouldn't even say slapped on the wrist. In many instances, the cases were dismissed. The individual would come back to this community and would start doing what he was doing over again. Other cases, charges weren't even simply weren't even pursued. This is not just an isolated instance. This is across the board. So I made the determination for the betterment of this community and for the betterment of this county, we need to make a change in that office. We need to get somebody in there who is a law enforcement individual, who's focused on police work and criminal justice and law enforcement, and who is interested in staying in this county and doing the job. You cannot run this office from Florida, Mexico, or wherever. This office needs to be run by somebody who's in the office, in the courthouse, doing the job.
No, on the other side of the coin, I'm going to play the devil's advocate, David, on this. Mr. Sartini was in here yesterday, and I asked him specifically about this situation, mostly for the event that occurred, what, 2 months ago with the meth raid.
Yes.
And I know you've had some problems with that. He said that he didn't let the people go on signing out. That was the judge's decision. What's your response to that?
The prosecutor is the quarterback of the criminal justice system here. Mr. Sartini has stated in the Conneaut debate that he basically views himself as the administrator of the largest law firm and falls back on the judges, blames the judges for this occurring. Mm-hmm. If you're going to be involved in a task force and arrest of that size, then you do it the right way, like Lake County did it. You don't do it the way he did it. I could go on and talk about this in great detail, but I'm not going to, because I'm not going to jeopardize anything that's taking place right now with respect to these pending cases.
That's fair.
But the bottom line remains that these individuals, and let me qualify this and clarify this, because he has a habit of saying this, that I'm attacking law enforcement officers. Trust me, ask law enforcement officers whether I am their partner in these endeavors. Ask the Conneaut Police Department. I am in no manner criticizing law enforcement, but when you arrest that many people and they all are photographed and filmed and the word is that they just simply walk out the door, you've not accomplished what needed to be accomplished in that sense. And we just need to wait and see what happens with these prosecutions. But there's a larger issue there. And I have a document here. The question is, and the question for the voters is, are you happy with the way the crime and drug problem is in this county? If you are, then your choice is obvious, if you're happy with the way this is going. If you're not, then you should say, is there a better alternative? And the question is, obviously, there's only two of us running. So it's either a return Mr. Sartini to office for 4 more years, just like the 16 prior to this, or do we go in a different direction? In the course of this campaign, I have come into possession of a document which is entitled the Ashtabula County Methamphetamine Community Awareness Plan. It is dated January of 2004.
8 years ago.
8 years ago. And I want to read just one paragraph from this plan. Now, I had nothing to do with this. This was passed by the commissioners, paid for and passed by the commissioners.